Hi ladies and gentlemen, this is Miss Germaine. I just want to put up a video because I've been getting a lot of work from people for lesson 2 that has been actually turned in almost completely blank. And I think it's because the directions aren't 100% clear on what I'm expecting. So I'm going to go through all the slides and I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do for each of these slides so that you don't hand it in blank and have to redo it. So let's take a look at this is our first slide. Let's take a look at slide 2, our warm-up. So in this box, your expectation, as it says at the bottom, is to double-click inside the box and to type your answer in the box. Okay, what do you notice? What do you wonder? I don't want to have people handing this in with it being blank. I will turn it back to you if it is blank. I know it seems simple, but you've got to get something written in there. Okay, so then slide 3 is the video in the notes. You don't need to do anything on that one. Slide 4 is where I'm seeing a lot of people have difficulty. So the directions say match each of these diagrams with a diagram. The descriptions, I'm sorry, that's on the right side, these things right here, with one of these diagrams over here. All of these diagrams on the left side are labeled A, B, C, D, A, B, C, and D. Your job is to take those letters and to put them in the boxes next to the description that matches it. For example, the circumference C of a circle with a radius R. So I need to look next door in this left-hand column for a diagram that has an output, that means on the right side of the box, of a C, and inside that diagram box there's going to have to be an R. So which one of these guys has a C on the right side of our description box? That's going to be D. So in this box right here, it's going to be your job to write the letter D. Okay? So you're going to do the same thing in these 3 other boxes, matching them to the diagrams on the left side. Okay? That's what I'm expecting there. Then we're looking at slide 5. So slide 5, you're going to take these diagrams up at the top, A, B, C, and D, same ones we used before, and we're going to match them. We don't even have to do any matching here. First, you need to write the equation. So if we look at this first example here, it says V is equal to 3 to the S to the 3rd power. So that means if I look at my A, oh look, I'm using that V first. So that means that that letter that's on the right side of my box, my description box, is going to be equal to what's that equation that's inside the box. So you're saying V is equal to S to the 3rd. So if you're looking at, B, your equation is going to look something like what's inside that, what's on the right side of that equation box is that letter D. And we're going to say that it's equal, equal to what's inside the box, 60 times T. Oh, I'm writing that in the wrong spot. Sorry. 60 times T. You're expected for C and D to do the same thing for that. Here, now you're going to take this equation that you had up here and you're going to plug in 5 for that T. So you're going to say to yourself, D is equal to 60 times, but instead of this time we said it's not going to be that letter T, it's going to be equal to 5 because that input or that T is going to be equal to 5. And then if I multiply 60 by 5, I get 300. You're going to do the same thing there, plug in 5 into the equation for C and plug 5 into the equation for D. When you're looking at D, make sure you don't put an X there because it's equal to 2 pi R. So make sure that you're remembering that's pi, okay? So then the independent variable, that means your X value, that number, that variable that's inside your equation, this guy is going to be equal to that letter T. And what number's on my dependent or my output value is going to be depicted by that letter D. You need to do the same thing for C and D. That's what I'm expecting there. Let's take a look at Slide 6. Slide 6, first thing that you need to do is you need to take these three stories and equations down at the bottom, and you need to match them to a graph, one of these graphs up here. So if I look at this first one up here, it's Q is equal to 50 minus 0.4D. So if I have a minus 0.4D, that means I have a negative slope. So which one of these three graphs has a negative slope? That means a negative slope means it's going in a downward direction. Oh geez, that's going to be letter C. So I'm going to come in this box right here, and I'm going to type in my letter C, because that is the one that matches this here. Boom. And then once I go through and I label my other two, now I need to come up to my graph, and then I need to label my independent and dependent variables. That means I need to label my axes. So if we look at our story problem down here, it says where Q is the number of quarters. So that means my Q is that Y. So my Y-axis is going to be labeled quarters, A-R-T-E-R-S, and where that D stands for your dimes. So my D, if you look at your equation, my D is inside the equation. So it's going to be my X value is going to be dimes. Okay? So once you do that for the first one, you need to come to the other two and label those axes as well. So first you're matching the graphs to the stories, then you're labeling your axes. Okay? So then let's take a look at slide 7. Slide 7 is a little bit more tricky, okay? Slide 7 is asking you, is asking you to look at your tables down below. And each table has an equation that goes with it, okay? So when you have your equation here, when you have a table like this, your input is going to be that independent variable, that letter that's inside your equation, okay? So then that means for each of these equations, you're going to take these inputs and you're going to plug them in for, in this case, for the first one, we're going to be plugging it in for the R. So you're going to plug one in for R, and then you're going to solve it. So you're going to say to yourself, what's 1 squared is going to be 1 times pi is equal to 3.14. That first one is done for you. Now let's take a look at the second piece where you're going to have to input 2. Okay, so then you're going to take 2 and you're going to, in this equation here, okay, you're going to write it as, you're going to say to yourself, A is equal to pi times R. But instead of R, we know that we're going to plug in 2 for that. So you're going to say 2 to the second power. And I know that 2 to the second power, we're going to say A is equal to pi times 2 to the second power is 4. So then I can go to any calculator, I can go to Google and I can type in pi times 4, and I'm going to get 12.56. So what you need to do on this last equation over here, this last box over here, the expectation is that you're going to pick some inputs. So it gave you 1, I'm going to say 2, and I'm going to say 3. Okay, so then you're going to take each of these inputs and you're going to plug them into the equation. So you're going to plug that 1 in for D and you're going to solve it. Okay, so once you fill in your last table over here, what these little dots over here are you need to take them and you need to place them on the graph where they would belong, right? So then if we, oh, I don't know why that's working, why that's going on. Let me try again. Okay, no, I don't know why. It's being annoying. So you're going to take it and you're going to drag it up onto your graph. Okay. Where that input of 2, so that means where that X is equal to 2, I need to go onto my line and I need to put this little dot, right? So let's test it. Let's make sure. Oh geez, that 2 lines up perfectly with where that dot is. Then I'm going to come down to my other dot over here, and I'm going to move it up to be right above that 3 on the x coordinate, right? So you're going to come over. I'm going to go over till I hit that 3, and then I'm going to bring it right up till I hit my line. Boom. I don't know why that just happened. Okay? So then your dot is perfect there. So you're going to do the same thing with the other ones down here. With the dot piece, I just want you guys trying your best. I know it's going to be a little bit difficult for all my friends that have the phone. What I'm really looking for is for you to input these numbers into the table. Okay? So ladies and gentlemen, I really want you to, before you hand in your lesson, your slides for the day, you need to make sure that you're watching this video so that you understand how I need you to put your answers in. If you still have questions, please send me an email or reach out on I have my phone number on our Google Stream. I just want everybody trying their best, and thank you so much for watching.